Now, this is going to be a rather quick response to AVGN's review of Majora's Mask, and I hope I'm not way too late to the party this time. I was rather excited to see the nerd jumping into one of my favorite games of all time. But unlike his review of Mario Bros. 3 for the NES,
I'm gonna review a good game for once.
He allegedly decided to stick by the norm and express why Majora's Mask overall just didn't stick with him, like it did for many other Zelda fans, which it still does, even to this day. At least for me. The game has its share of flaws, no doubt. Some of which were ironed out and fixed in the 3DS remaster. James reviewed the original N64 version, and while he does acknowledge the adjustments the remaster did, he decided to point out these flaws in the original regardless. So if any of these problems get brought up in the review, I'm just going to make a quick note if they were fixed in the remaster. With that being said, there were unfortunately some objective flaws within the review itself, which is why I'm creating this video. Some of which were probably due to lack of understanding on his part, while others highly lacking in logical sense. I have no doubt that James is a busy man, so I never fully expected him to invest a big amount of time researching for his review of Majora's Mask. But like the nerd said himself, if there are points that need to be addressed, then that's exactly what somebody should do. And that somebody could be me. I will also be sharing my own opinions along the way. So, in no particular order, let's begin this small analysis.
The clock is a story in itself. At first it appears to be like the upper half of a regular analog clock, especially since 12 is at the top center. But why is 6 on the right and left? Why is there both a sun and a moon going around in a circle? My intuitive nature to think it's anything like a regular clock only confused the hell out of myself. From what I was able to make sense of, it runs from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then changes to 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. and so on for each day. The yellow sun is always a minute hand, the red sun is the hour hand, but the red sun changes to a moon at night. Why doesn't the minute hand also change to a moon? Why not just have a regular clock or a simple digital counter?
This is a weird point. The clock in Majora's Mask always made perfect sense to me. Like each of those lines represent an hour? What do you guys think?
So basically, any time before the third day ends, you have to play that song and go back in time. Otherwise, the moon will crash and you lose your progress. You just don't let it happen. Playing the song doesn't just send you back, it also saves the game. And it's the only way you can truly save. There is a quick save, which you can do by hitting owl statues, but that's only a temporary save that you can only load once. Yeah. So if you want to save and feel good about it, you gotta go back in time. Now, I always thought saving was the preservation of progress up until the present time. But here, to save, you gotta go back to the beginning. What kind of sense does that make? When you go back, you keep your main items as mentioned, but all your rupees are gone, your arrows gone, bombs gone, sticks, nuts, bottled items, any inventory, it all goes away. Plus any side quests you were working on or people you've interacted with, any items you've unlocked or special events that took place, all that is lost. So saving is something you don't want to do until the 3 days are almost up and you have no other choice.
Look, I don't know why the Goddess of Time is so picky with what you can bring back in time with you, but luckily it's extremely easy for us to get consumable items back.
Johnny is absolutely right here. Majora's Mask is extremely generous when it comes to providing the player with the ammunition they need in order to progress through the game. Right next to the owl statues right outside the dungeon entrances, along with other owl statues, you can easily have your bombs, arrows and magic refilled. You can even stock up on fairies. Even if Deku Sticks and Deku Nuts are better to stock up on inside the shop, the game still provides you with sticks for when you really need it. And nuts aren't a necessity for making it through the game, though they can be handy if you find yourself in a tight spot.
I gotta be honest, I like playing games where you can save anytime you want, like Zelda. Oh man, I can't reference Zelda because I'm playing fucking Zelda! Then there's occasions where you need time to speed up. Certain events only happen during the day or night or at a specific hour or whatever. You can skip forward with the Song of Double Time or a dancing scarecrow. Yeah, a dancing scarecrow. But these methods skip you ahead 6 to 12 hours. You can't just go to whatever hour you want, so you're still gonna wait around a lot. And waiting is something that's never fun, in real life or in games. Look at Link scratching himself. He can't take it anymore. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? What if you're in a dungeon? You know, the main areas in Zelda games where most of the action and puzzle solving takes place. The parts that usually take the most time and the most work. What if you're up to your ass in one of those and the clock runs out? Would the Song of Time preserve your dungeon progress? I don't want to find out. With the Song of Inverted Time slowing it down to 3 hours, that's probably enough. But don't even threaten me with that shit. Just the fact there's a time limit hovering over me makes me nervous as hell and takes all the fun away. It would be like duct taping a bag of diarrhea to the ceiling while you try to get work done. It probably won't fall as long as you make sure the duct tape is secure, but then you stop and think, it actually has no reason to be there. I mean, give me a reason. A time limit in a Zelda game? What were they fucking thinking?
You want a reason for the time limit? I thought you just explained it yourself.
I mentioned every time you go back and save, you lose your rupees, unless first you deposit them in the bank. Now, let me tell you about the bank, because this is a whole shit show. First of all, what's up with the bank teller? What's she doing? Yeah, that's great. Have you ever gone to the bank and the teller is thrashing their arms up and down? If that has ever happened, I'd like to know. It's amusing the first time you see it, maybe the 10th, but by the 100th time, you have to go through the same dialogue every time. An actual ATM is quicker, and then you have to enter the amount you want to deposit. Of course you want to deposit all, but there's no option for all. You have to enter the exact amount you have, and if it's a lot, she gives you interest, immediately handing over 5 rupees. Now I have to go through that all over again just to deposit 5 rupees? Can't you just add it to my balance? Then, after you save, you have to withdraw your rupees, which means going back to the bank and going through all the dialogue again. And after you withdraw, you pay a service charge of 4 rupees. Then what was the point of the 5 rupees you gave me earlier? And there's no withdraw all option either. Again, you have to enter the exact amount. One time I only took out a partial amount, then decided I wanted more, and the dialogue started up again. Excuse me, but let me take a look at you. Ah, yes, Link. You have to recognize me again? I was just here. I didn't even go anywhere. I've been standing right in front of your fucking face! You know how fast this could work? Like this. Deposit, withdraw, all, or enter amount. What's so hard about that? Or even better, just keep your rupees, like every other Zelda game. You might be thinking, this is just a minor thing, just a small part in the game. But no, this is a huge, major part, because every single time you save, you have to repeat the whole deposit-withdrawal routine.
The bank in the game really is a minor point on his part. Let me show you how long it really takes to do what you want. That wasn't so bad, right? Not to mention, farming rupees is easy enough. Albeit a little risky in some instances. Hey! Oh, you done it now! Taste my light arrows! Oh, you AVGN scoundrel. The game really does reward you for being an explorer. You can find a handful of chests which contain 100 rupees and they always reset for each 3-day cycle. Because of this, you may not even need to use the bank other than storing your rupees for when you reset time. He does come up with a fine suggestion for efficiency when speaking to the bank person, but instead of all, it should say max out because all could mean all the rupees you've saved up, but the biggest amount you can carry is 500. Either way, you probably don't want to max out your wallet from the bank, because that means you'll be wasting every single rupee you pick up along the way. At least do some shopping before you set out. That's probably what James meant, but he didn't make it all that clear here. Also, if you only took out a partial amount, then decided you'd rather have your wallet filled up some more or to the max, well, the minor inconvenience is all you then. By the way, if you save up enough, you get the adult wallet and eventually a heart piece, so that's probably why the bank plays such a big role in the game. Though I suppose the whole dialogue part is all about immersion.
Well, gee, the time limit, the saving that sends you back, the weird clock, the banking system, that's probably all the bad things, right? I'm gonna move ahead now and just assume the rest of the game is totally perfect. But I've been wrong before.
This is a rather big cop-out statement to make. You're gonna try to assume everything else is perfect down the road? Without any form of context, you're simply asking for further disappointments. So what if you'll be proven wrong?
So there, I said some good things about the game, but that's all anybody ever talks about is the good things. The bad things, well, that's my job.
Careful with that statement, James. There are others who talk about the good as well as the bad.
For me, the majority of it has been consistently frustrating. It has its share of bad camera angles, difficult jumps, and occasional glitches.
Hold on just a moment there. What's the big deal with the camera angle in this room? There are no enemies or any obstacles to overcome with finesse and accuracy. There are only doors to go through. How is this jump in particular difficult to make when you can take your time adjusting yourself? And is this supposed to be a glitch that is ultimately a hindrance? I can confirm that it is not. Your points here lack in conveyance without more proper examples.
Many of the boss battles are repetitive and grueling, like this one where you have to kill all the eyeballs. Do you think there's enough eyeballs?
You don't have to remove all of those blobs. Once you damage its eye enough, they all come off and bounce around. It may make the second phase harder, but by no means does the game force you to pluck them off one by one. Although I will say it may require some luck. Yeah, good shot! Alright, let's get in another one. There we go. Let's try that again. Oh. Damn it. Piece of shit. Here, buddy. Here, buddy.
Oh, I missed!
Dialogue can be a chore. Sometimes if there's more than one character close together, it's hard to speak to the right one. Like here, it's the kid I want to talk to, but this asshole keeps getting in my way.
Why would you want to talk to the kid with the A button? The point is to catch him by touching him. If the A button is not a necessity, why didn't he instead say that the hide-and-seek minigame has its share of problems, such as this?
When buying large quantities of items, you have to buy them one at a time.
This is a point that is presented in a misleading fashion. Far as I'm concerned, the only items you can only buy one at a time are Deku Sticks and Magic Beans. Even then, Deku Sticks are not really needed in big quantities, and the game often makes sure to give you at least one for when you do need it. And you need only one Magic Bean for the main game. If you plan on tackling the optional Swamp Spider House, then buy 10 of them, just to be on the safe side. But if you have the hook shot, then you may not even need a single Magic Bean.
It's easy to get disoriented. For one example, I just met the skeleton dude, and now I'm supposed to chase him. A cutscene plays, and afterwards, oh shit, I'm facing in the wrong direction. I reorient myself and go after him, but now, just because I delayed for one short moment, I'm never able to catch up with him. It's over. Rather than giving you a quick second chance, you have to leave the area and come back. Why?
Is this really that jarring? No, that wasn't so bad. It would have been even worse if you had to reset time. Is he being serious about this? By the way, you can slow him down by shooting arrows.
There's a couple times when you have to win a race. The first time you're in your Goron body rolling with other Gorons. At first it seems like a cool minigame, but the problem is you have to come in first place. Not second, not third, first. They leave you no room for error. If you bump into anything just once, you won't make it. You have to practice it over and over until you memorize every inch of that entire course. The other race is on horseback, but it's the same thing. You need a perfect run. And worse, this time every try costs you 10 rupees. Considering this is a mini-game and that racing is not the main skill in Majora's Mask or any Zelda game, you'd think they could be a little more forgiving. Even in Mario Kart, you don't have to be in first place to move on.
Comparing racing minigames in Zelda to Mario Kart is rather inaccurate. In Mario Kart, your rating is based on your overall placings because racing is the focus of the game, whereas Zelda is adventure focused. Therefore, it is not unreasonable for the game to expect you to finish in first, especially when the minigame itself is based on skills. Reasonable skills. Even when it is luck-based, there may be mechanics implemented, which you have to make use of if you want to turn the odds to your favor.
Let's try a different approach. Let's try one that thinks I'll do alright. Let's go with the golden dog. He's in last place! Pathetic.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! He won! Oh man! Are you for real? Is this actually happening right now? Is this actually happening right now? Whoa, take me for a walk and call me Spot. You took first place. First place! You win triple the amount of your bet. That's 150 rupees. Nice going.
But as you can see, some are more fortunate than others. Also, in Mario Kart 64, you did have to place 4th or higher, or else you'd be forced to retry the course or quit the cup, so you couldn't suck too much there either.
Aiming your weapons is never easy. I'm trying to hookshot onto the turtle's back. I've aimed for the shell, I've aimed for the tree, I've tried it from every angle I could think of, but it only works whenever it feels like it.
This part is indeed a flaw in the game, but at the same time, James's argument is a little lacking here. In fact, it's misleading. It doesn't simply work when it feels like it, as he says. You have to use the barrels in order to reach the palm tree mast. Which is exactly what he did, so why did he not mention it? And besides, why in the world would he try aiming for the shell when you clearly have to aim for the palm trees if you want to enter the temple in the first place?
There's many areas where you have to shoot ice arrows into the water to create glaciers to hop on, but sometimes it just doesn't work. There's no clear reason. Come on! Come on! What the fuck?
The ice arrow mechanic in Great Bay Temple is rather weird in the N64 version. So let me add something to his argument. From my own observations, it seems as though the arrow must travel a certain distance in the water for the ice block to manifest. As you can see here, if I shoot at this spot in this fashion, it doesn't work. But when I do it from here, it does work.
This part, you gotta do the Goron roll on the bridge, hit the ramp, and jump across. But each time I veer slightly to the side and fall down. And then you have to go all the way back and climb a ladder just to get to the starting point again. Alright, here we go. Oh, fuck! It's like bowling a gutter ball. You're so mad you want to try again immediately, but you gotta wait your turn. Go. Yeah! Fuck! I bounced back!
Come on, dude. Just set yourself up properly. See? You don't even have to be perfect.
There's a part where you have to enter a cave, but it's blocked by a giant boulder. The goal is to blow it up using an explosive barrel that you get from a big Goron. As soon as he gives you the barrel, time starts ticking down. You have to hurry and carry it over to the cave before it explodes. Right off the bat, they put all these ramps in front of you. You can't carry it while walking up the ramps, so you have to repeatedly throw the barrel and pick it up again. And again. And again. Then you have to find the cave as fast as humanly possible. Like everything, they give you just enough time for a perfect run. If you get a little bit lost along the way, or you don't take the most direct path, or bump into something, or drop the barrel for one moment, you're done. Just give up. Just want to get over the bridge. Get out of my way! Ah, you fucking wolf! Pick it up, pick it up! Get the barrel! Get the barrel! Fuck! Here we go, here we go. I can see the cave. I can see the cave. Gonna make it. Gonna make it! Ah! Oh, pick it up, pick it up! Fuck!
This part of the game can be frustrating to those who aren't attuned to paying attention to what the blue action icon says. The game does let you know when Link will pick up the keg or simply curl up into a ball. Just pay attention to it when throwing to, and this small task should be no problem at all. And getting lost while carrying it is simply an impossibility. You may screw up by spending too much time figuring out the fastest path in the village area on your first try, but once you make it to the lake area, there's only one way to go. I don't understand how he got lost on a straight path, as he essentially expresses it.
Then you have to find the cave as fast as humanly possible. Like everything, they give you just enough time for a perfect run. If you get a little bit lost along the way, or you don't take the most direct path, or bump into something, or drop the barrel for one moment, you're done. Just give up.
What, is he Roro Noah Zoro?
How'd this happen? The path is gone!
How in the hell can anyone get lost on a path like this one? You can see the old man at the end of it! Even your sense of direction can't be that bad!
Finally, I'm gonna do it. I just did a perfect run. Plenty of time left. But it's about to change from night to day. That's kind of distracting, but no worries, right? Alright, put the barrel right in front of the boulder. We're set. It's there. It's there! Now all I gotta do is sit back and wait for the explosion. Alright. Dawn a second day. Alright. Where's the barrel? Where is the fucking barrel? You're gonna take the barrel? Just because the day changed? That's worse than Simon's Quest. Imagine if in Simon's Quest, every time it changes, it restarts whatever task you're working on. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you! You know what? Fuck this game. Yeah, I said it. Did I want to rip apart Majora's Mask? No. But the game drew first blood, not me.
The game taking away the bomb during the transition is bullshit. But once you are aware of this, you should be able to avoid this problem in the future. And like I said, it's super easy to begin with. So, it's worse than Simon's Quest? Are you sure that's not a stretch?
But you can't waste all that time when time is not on your side. That moon is gonna crash. The first day, I'm feeling fine. Second day, I'm starting to worry a little. The third day, I'm playing like my life depends on it. If time runs out, everything I did might go to waste. Hours of blood, sweat, and tears. Well, maybe not blood, but here I am, just doing my best. Ugh, that sound. The toll of the bullshit bell. I'm done for. The thing is, I'm almost there. Push the switch, get on the water spout, go in the final door, and I've made it to the boss. But that timer doesn't care. Give me a minute. 6 minutes. 6 minutes. I don't think that's enough time. It might be. But I don't want to play the ocarina now because I'm not sure exactly what that does. So, these bosses, you can't be under a rush. You have to have patience so that you can watch the boss, learn their weak spot, find their patterns. But the way things are right now, I don't think this is happening. And if it does, it's going to be the last possible second. And then what if I have to bail out, use the ocarina, but I get knocked into the water and I can't use the ocarina or something? So I need to make a decision here. Please don't make me do the dungeon over. Please. Please. I have to do the entire dungeon all over again.
It is true that it can be grating having to redo a dungeon because of time running out, but that is potentially only a half-truth. There are only 4 dungeons in Majora's Mask, and each of their treasures are linked to Link's bow. In the first temple, you find the bow itself, in the second, you find the fire arrow, then the ice arrow, and finally, the light arrow. Once you have acquired each of these treasures, redoing a dungeon becomes less painful and less time-consuming, as these items grant you the opportunity to skip a few steps and opening shortcuts. If you had to reset time before getting the treasure, then you essentially didn't make it to the halfway point, so there isn't that much progress you need to retrace. The same can be said about the quests in between each dungeon. Once you reach a certain point, you don't have to redo absolutely everything if you need to go back in time. Although if you are going for the stray fairies, then you'll have to essentially redo the entire dungeon regardless. Side note, double magic in this game is kinda useless. Once you get a hold of the Romani mask, then you may access unlimited magic as early as 10 PM of the first day. So, if you don't feel like finding all of the green stray fairies, there is another option if you have trouble with having enough magic.
I feel powerful!
There is also the fact that some may argue that having the dungeons reset is a good thing. One thing Zelda is well known for is its dungeons. If they were fun to complete, why have it so that you have to start a whole new game file just to experience them and the bosses again? If there's one Zelda game that has amazing replay value and easy access for practice runs, then I believe Majora's Mask is the best Zelda game in that regard. To me, it seems like James did consider the possibility of his dungeon progress being wiped out should he reset time. If that is the case, then the logical thing to do is not risk it and always make sure you start a dungeon at the dawn of the first day. For the sake of argument and entertainment, him acting frustrated here is appropriate, as this can be a flaw to some. But in terms of authenticity for his first time experience, this moment is rather forced and potentially misleading to people who have no experience with Majora's Mask. Because it may come off as an outright chore to finish a dungeon, so why in the world would they want to do it again? In my opinion at least, the dungeons in Majora's Mask are fun and well constructed, so I don't mind playing through them again. Now, for the sake of argument, allow me to show you how fast you can complete the Great Bay Temple after obtaining the Ice Arrow and with a solid grasp of how to progress through the temple. Another thing I don't quite understand. If this was his first time getting to the boss, where did this image come from?
The Great Bay Temple is the stuff of which nightmares are born. The stuff of legendary video game trauma. All I gotta say is, the Whirlpool Room. Oh, fuck me. The Whirlpool Room. It's a huge underwater room which is like the main hub of the entire dungeon, full of tunnels that lead every which way. Not even the map can make sense because you're never sure which level you're on. This is before 3D maps were common like in Breath of the Wild. But besides being confusing, you can hardly control where you're going. The water pushes you all around, forcing you to swim in circles. Even if you know which tunnel you're trying to go in, the current will pull you away. You have to get tricky and hug the wall a certain way, and just as you're about to pass by the tunnel, you quickly turn into it. But if you screw up and get sucked into the wrong tunnel, it could shit you out in some other part of the dungeon you don't want to be in.
This is probably the worst argument presented in this video, in that it makes no sense whatsoever. If James truly played through the game, how could he forget that altering the direction of the whirlpool is a legit mechanic in this dungeon? The reason he is not able to access these tunnels is because the water isn't flowing in the right direction. There are no accidents or fuck-ups to be made here, aside from actually choosing the wrong tunnel. If you know where you want to go and the water is flowing in the right direction, as can be indicated by those fish signs, then entering the tunnel you want is absolutely no task. You know what they say, let the stream take you away.
And next thing, you're retracing your steps to get back to where you were.
That clip was from the Pirate Fortress. I'm not sure why you decided to show it right after. James, did you really play the game yourself?
Only one left. Alright, last dungeon. Last dungeon. Here we go! Yeah, take that, you fuck! Yeah! I did it! I beat the boss. Pick up the boss remains. Oh, hang on, I gotta get the heart container too. I can still get that heart, right? Now I gotta watch the cutscene. Please let that heart still be there. Please. How do I get the heart now? So I looked it up. You can get the heart still. Oh yeah. If you beat the boss again! Oh, so you have to pick up the heart container before you pick up the boss remains. I know there's a specific order. Now you might think I'm the one who fucked up, but that shouldn't be possible.
Excuse me? What is that source you're looking at? The heart is still there. Did you even try re-entering the boss room? James, I'm really starting to have my doubts now.
Now you might think I'm the one who fucked up, but that shouldn't be possible. The boss remains were in front of the heart, so naturally that's what I touched first. Jeez! Have a heart!
The remains are inside the blue light. You know, the one that always has been teleporting you out of the dungeon? Honestly, what did you expect?
Am I done yet?
Yeah, I think that about does it, so let's just wrap this up. Perhaps I've missed something, but all in all, it was an alright review for a first-time experience. I can't really blame him for making a number like this, because even the Zelda fandom has its share of bad apples. But even though I said the review itself was alright, I'm sad to say that it utterly falls short, because there were instances when I wondered if he really was playing the game for himself, or if he was trying at all. From someone like James, I expect a whole lot better than this. Like with Some Call Me Johnny, Majora's Mask deserves a second chance from you two. Though the difference is that you already played through the game while Johnny dropped it and picked it back up. But hey, James, if you see this video, please don't feel bad. I merely wanted to shed some light on the situation. I hope this video has been informative to you. Also, thank you so much for watching, including everyone else who stopped by. Keep on rockin', nerd.
A world he cannot end, perpetually surrounding himself with games he hates yet cannot stop playing. Tonight's tale of the macabre, masochists, and Majora's Mask on the Angry Video Game Nerd.
Who was that guy?
No, and when people talk about Ocarina, they're like, it's a masterpiece, but the water temple, ugh. And it's like, okay. But nobody says anything like that about this, and there's so many moments that are just ass. And the stone temple, or whatever the fuck temple I'm on right now, is one of them. I gotta go through that whole fucking... When I die from that guy, first of all, he's impossible to figure out how to kill. Because there's just very strange feedback.
Yeah, there's a trick to him that we haven't figured out yet.
But I'm reading a walkthrough that says exactly how to kill him, and I still can't figure out how to kill him.
Yeah, that's weird.
And fuck me, right? I'm an idiot. Okay, fine. That's fair. But there's so many other people out there that are idiots who didn't have walkthroughs, and you just die because he does 1,000 health when he kills you. And then it sends you back to the beginning of the temple, and you gotta go through that whole flippy-floppy bullshit again. You gotta go through the part with the lava and flip it again. You gotta go through the part with the slime blobs, flip it again. You gotta do the part where you float with the thing across the thing with the pose, and then you gotta hit the goddamn spike bombs with your arrow, and they explode, and then you fly over there, you get hit by the pots, then fly over to the next part, and then that's the door that leads to this fucking boss that kills you in 2 hits!
So anyway...
It's ridiculous!
No, you know what? I honestly can't bring myself to quite believe James played the game for himself. After all of the problems he expressed, how in the world did he fail to mention the well in Ikana Canyon? This place is the epitome of fetch quests and backtracking, especially for beginners. And it's part of the main quest. In other words, it's mandatory. Did somebody pay him to voice their opinions in their stead?
First, I have to get out of the way. The Nintendo 64's graphics look like shit.
Look at this, it looks like garbage.
Do you think there's enough eyeballs?
It's a little tedious.
Thank you.
I should probably stop reading further into it.